The legend awakens. In a distant corner of the galaxy, where stars shone like scattered diamonds on a dark cloth, there was a small empire that few remembered. In this forgotten part of space, legends were born and whispered among the people. One of these legends told of a mighty warship, a vessel so powerful and mysterious that its story had grown into myth over many generations. For centuries, the warship was only a tale, a fairy tale passed down from one person to another. People spoke of it in hushed voices, as if mentioning its name would bring its presence into the world. In the quiet villages and busy space stations of the emerging empire, the legend lived on in the hearts of all who dared to dream of a change. They believed that this warship, if found, could protect them and lead their people into a new age of strength and hope. The empire itself was small and humble, emerging from the ruins of older, more powerful civilizations. Its leaders worked hard to rebuild, using what little they had to forge a better future. Yet, in the midst of their daily struggles, they clung to the story of the warship. The elders would gather the children in the evening, by the soft glow of starlight, to tell the tale of the legendary vessel. They described how the ship had once sailed the cosmos, its armor shining and its engines humming with a force that seemed almost magical. It was said that the warship had been lost in a great battle long ago, hidden away in a place where time itself seemed to pause. In a small outpost on the edge of the empire lived a young man named Roland. Roland was a quiet, thoughtful person who spent many nights looking up at the stars, wondering about the secrets they held. He listened carefully to the elders' stories and felt a deep connection with the legend of the warship. To him, it was not just a tale of old battles and lost glory, but a symbol of hope for a future where the weak could rise against the strong. One clear night, as Roland sat outside his modest home, he noticed something unusual in the sky. A bright, pulsing light moved slowly among the stars, different from the steady shine of a normal star or the swift streak of a passing comet. The light glowed with a strange, soft blue, and it seemed to pulse in time with his own heartbeat. Roland felt a chill run down his spine. Could it be that the legend was coming to life? Was this light a sign that the warship and all its forgotten power was near? The next morning, word of the strange light spread through the outpost. People gathered and talked in hushed tones about the possibility that the warship had awakened. Some said it was just a trick of the light, a natural wonder with no meaning. Others believed that the empire was finally receiving a message from the past, a call to arms that could change the fate of everyone. The old stories that once seemed so distant were now alive in every conversation, and even the simplest market day buzzed with excitement and fear. Roland, filled with both wonder and determination, decided to learn more about this strange event. He spoke with the elders and listened to their memories of the old times. They told him that long ago, during a massive battle that had defined an era, the warship had disappeared without a trace. It was a time when empires clashed and heroes were made, but the ship's true power had been lost to history. Now, it seemed as if fate had given the empire a second chance, and the warship was ready to rise again. The people of the emerging empire began to see the warship not just as a legend, but as a promise. In the quiet moments before dawn, they prayed for guidance. They hoped that the warship, with its mysterious past and untold strength, would appear and help them build a better future. In every home and every gathering, there was a shared feeling that something extraordinary was about to happen, a spark that could ignite the flame of a new era. As the days passed, the blue light in the sky became a symbol of change. It appeared at random, always leaving behind a trail of hope and anticipation. People would stop in their work and look up, their eyes filled with dreams of what might come. Roland, now more determined than ever, vowed to follow the signs. He believed that by finding the truth behind the light, he could help his people understand their destiny and unlock the secrets of the legendary warship. Thus, the legend began to awaken in earnest. The empire, once content with its small, everyday struggles, now looked to the heavens with a renewed sense of purpose. The myth of the warship, with its promises of power and protection, stirred the hearts of the people. It reminded them that even in the darkest of times, there could be a light to guide them, a light that could transform old stories into the reality of a mighty future. And so, with a spirit full of hope and a mind set on a quest, Roland stepped forward. The mystery of the pulsing blue light, the whispers of the past, and the dream of a stronger empire led him on a path that would change everything. The legend was no longer just a story told in the dark of night. It was a living promise that the warship, and with it the hope of a new beginning, was coming home. The call to action. In the days following the strange blue light, the small empire buzzed with talk of destiny and hidden secrets. In one of the empire's modest settlements, a young man named Roland, who had always felt the pull of the unknown, began to notice that his life was about to change forever. Every day, as Roland went about his simple chores, he found his thoughts drifting back to the mysterious light that had appeared in the sky. He could not shake the feeling that it was more than a mere natural wonder. It was as if the light was calling out to him, inviting him to seek a truth that lay buried in the legends of old. Roland was an ordinary person with a kind heart and an unassuming nature, but deep inside, he yearned for adventure and a purpose greater than his daily struggles. One crisp morning, while Roland was tending to his small garden, he discovered something unusual tucked beneath a loose stone. It was a small worn piece of paper, covered with strange symbols and faint, almost disappearing words. The paper felt heavy in his hands, as if it carried a hidden weight of destiny. He sat down on the cool ground and carefully unfolded it. The message was brief but clear, a secret invitation to search for the legendary warship, the same one spoken of in whispers and bedtime tales. Roland's heart pounded as he read the message over and over again. The note mentioned a location marked on an old, crumbling map. It hinted that the warship was not just a tale, but a real vessel that had been lost in time, waiting for the right moment to rise again. The note also spoke of challenges and dangers, warning that the path to the warship was fraught with obstacles, but promising that its discovery would change the fate of the Empire. It was a call to action that could not be ignored. As the day wore on, Roland could not stop thinking about the invitation. He wondered who had sent the note and why it had been hidden away until now. Was it a test, a message left by someone who believed in the old legends, or was it fate itself urging him to embark on a dangerous quest? These questions swirled in his mind, and with every passing moment, his resolve grew stronger. Word of Roland's discovery soon spread quietly through the settlement. Neighbors and friends, though hesitant at first, began to see his determination as a sign that this might be the moment they had all been waiting for. Even the elders, who had long spoken of the warship in reverent tones, noticed a spark in Roland's eyes that reminded them of the heroes of old. They whispered among themselves that perhaps destiny had chosen this young man to bring the legend to life. Encouraged by the support of his community, Roland decided it was time to act. He gathered what little he had, a few personal belongings, some food, and the mysterious note, and prepared to leave his humble home. His family, though worried, saw that his decision was not made lightly. They recalled the stories of brave souls from the past who had ventured into the unknown for a chance at a better future. With heartfelt blessings and quiet prayers, they wished him safe travels and hoped that his journey would bring hope back to their people. Before leaving, Roland visited the local elder, a wise and gentle woman named Mira, who had told him many of the old stories. Mira examined the note carefully, her eyes widening as she recognized symbols that had not been seen in many years. "This is no ordinary message," she said softly. "It comes from a time when legends were real, and it calls upon you to bring back the light of hope to our people." Her words filled Roland with both excitement and a sense of duty. It was now clear that his journey was not just about adventure. It was about fulfilling a promise that the Empire had long forgotten. As Roland prepared for his departure, he found more clues that pointed him toward the hidden map mentioned in the note. In the old market square, a merchant quietly handed him a folded piece of paper that looked much like the one he had found. This second note contained more details, coordinates, hints of secret passages, and a cryptic message about unlocking the forgotten power. Each clue deepened the mystery and built the tension in his heart. The pieces of the puzzle were slowly coming together, urging him to press on despite the dangers that lay ahead. With his mind made up, Roland stepped out into the unknown, leaving behind the comfort of his old life. He walked along dusty roads and through quiet villages, following the trail laid out by fate and hidden messages. Every step brought him closer to the legendary warship and the promise of a brighter future for his people. Thus, the call to action was complete. Roland, an ordinary young man with an extraordinary destiny, had answered the invitation. His journey had begun, a journey filled with mystery, challenges, and the hope of unearthing a long-forgotten legend. The Empire watched and waited as the first brave soul stepped forward to bring the myth into reality, ready to face whatever trials the universe had in store. The journey begins. After the call to action was made, and the mysterious note had spurred him to leave, Roland set out on his journey with a quiet determination. The sun rose gently over the small empire as he began to walk the long, dusty road that would lead him to the hidden secrets of the warship. His steps were steady, though his heart pounded with both fear and excitement. Each mile took him farther from the familiar and closer to the unknown. Roland traveled through small villages and empty fields, the landscape slowly changing as he left behind the safety of his home. Along the way, he met travelers who shared rumors and stories about ancient ruins and lost treasures. Many spoke of the legendary warship as if it were a myth, a tale meant only for bedtime stories. But in every tale, the spark of hope was present, a hope that one day the old legends might return to bring strength to the people. On one cool evening, as Roland made camp under a starlit sky, he found himself joined by a small band of fellow seekers. There was Lena, a kind and resourceful woman who had left her village after hearing the same legends. Joran, a quiet but brave man whose eyes showed a deep understanding of the old ways. And Milo, a young wanderer with a sharp mind and a knack for finding hidden paths. Though they came from different parts of the Empire, all of them had felt the pull of the mysterious note and the promise of the warship. Their meeting felt destined, a moment when fate brought together those who were meant to follow the path of the legend. Around the warm glow of a small fire, the new companions exchanged stories. Roland recounted his discovery of the note and the strange blue light that had appeared in the sky. Lena shared tales of ancient ruins near her home, where symbols similar to those on Roland's note were found. Joran spoke of dreams where the warship seemed to call out to him, and Milo showed sketches he had made of the map that was rumored to lead to the warship's resting place. Their conversation was filled with a sense of wonder and purpose. They understood that their journey was not just about finding an old relic, it was about reviving a lost hope for an entire people. The next morning, the group set out together. They followed a path marked on an old, fragile map that had been pieced together from clues and whispered legends. The road was rough and unpaved, winding through wild meadows and dense forests where the sunlight barely touched the ground. Along the path, nature itself seemed to watch them. Birds sang softly in the trees, and the wind whispered secrets through the leaves. Every sound, every shadow, heightened their senses and added to the mystery of the quest. As they ventured deeper into unfamiliar lands, the group encountered small challenges that tested their resolve. At one point, a sudden rainstorm forced them to seek shelter in a narrow cave. Inside, the darkness pressed in around them, and the sound of the rain on the cave walls was both soothing and eerie. In that cramped space, they shared personal stories of loss, hope, and the dreams that had led them on this path. The storm passed, and as they stepped back into the open, a rainbow arched across the sky, a brief reminder that beauty can follow even the darkest moments. Their journey was not without moments of tension. On a particularly quiet stretch of road, the group noticed odd tracks on the soft earth. The tracks did not belong to any ordinary animal they had seen before. The markings were deep and unusual, and they led off the beaten path. With cautious steps, they decided to follow the trail, their senses alert to any danger. The track led them to an overgrown clearing where ancient symbols were carved into a stone. Here, they paused, realizing that the land itself held secrets of the past. The sight of these symbols renewed their belief that the legend of the warship was intertwined with the history of their land. It was as if the very earth whispered the promise of a forgotten power waiting to be awakened. Every day brought new surprises and small victories that fueled their determination. They discovered hidden springs of water, ancient relics half buried in the soil, and remnants of old structures that hinted at a time when mighty empires ruled these lands. Each discovery was a piece of a larger puzzle, a clue that brought them closer to the warship. The group grew closer with every step, their bond forged by the shared hope that they were part of something larger than themselves. Throughout the journey, Roland often looked up at the sky, remembering the pulsing blue light that had first called him to adventure. That light now shone faintly on clear nights, as if guiding him along the right path. Its gentle glow was a reminder that the legends were not just stories, but signs of a destiny that was yet to be fulfilled. In simple yet determined words, the group vowed to press on no matter what obstacles they faced. Their journey was one of discovery and courage, a testament to the strength of the human spirit in the face of the unknown. They knew that the road ahead might be fraught with danger, but they also knew that every step they took was a step closer to awakening the forgotten legend. Thus, the journey had truly begun. Roland and his companions continued onward, each day bringing them closer to the hidden truth of the warship. Their adventure was just starting, and with every mile they traveled, the legend of the warship grew stronger in their hearts and minds. The first clash. As the journey continued, the small group grew more confident in their quest to find the legendary warship. Roland, Lena, Joran, and Milo moved steadily along a winding path that led them into a dense forest. The trees stood tall like silent guards, and the air was filled with soft rustles and distant bird calls. Yet, beneath the calm surface, tension brewed as if the land itself was warning them of danger ahead. One late afternoon, when the sun was low and shadows stretched long across the ground, the group heard a distant rumble. At first, they thought it might be thunder, but the sky was clear. Soon, the sound grew louder, a heavy mechanical noise that shook the earth beneath their feet. The companions exchanged worried looks, realizing that something was coming their way. They quickly found a place to hide behind a large rock formation near the edge of the forest. From their hiding spot, they saw a band of armed soldiers emerging from the trees. These were not ordinary travelers. Their armor was dark and worn, and they carried weapons that glinted menacingly in the fading light. The soldiers marched in a strict line, their faces set in determination. It was clear they were on a mission of their own, and their destination seemed to be the same ancient ruins that the group had been following. The presence of these soldiers filled the air with unease. Were they allies, or were they foes seeking the same legendary warship? As the soldiers advanced, the group realized they had been spotted. One of the soldiers shouted a warning in a deep, gruff voice, and the silence of the forest broke with the sound of raised alarms. The group knew that staying hidden was no longer an option. With a silent nod, Roland signaled to his companions that it was time to prepare for what was coming next. The soldiers moved quickly, and soon a fierce clash began in the clearing. The sound of clashing metal and shouted orders filled the air. Roland and his friends found themselves caught in the middle of an unexpected battle. Although they were not trained fighters like the soldiers, they fought with the courage of those who have nothing to lose. Lena, quick and nimble, dodged a swinging blade and returned fire with a small energy pistol she carried. Joran used his strength to push a heavy rock in front of them as a temporary shield, while Milo stayed low, using his sharp eyes to spot the enemy's moves. The soldiers were relentless. Their leader, a tall figure in dark armor, moved with precision and authority. Every step he took seemed to be planned, every swing of his weapon calculated to strike with deadly accuracy. The group realized that these soldiers were not simply random bandits. They were a well-organized force, driven by a purpose that might be tied to the same legend they were chasing. In the midst of the battle, Roland's heart pounded with a mix of fear and determination. He remembered the ancient note and the promise of the warship that could bring hope to their people. He knew that if the soldiers were successful in stopping them, the legend might be lost forever. Roland's eyes darted around, seeking a way to turn the tide of the battle. Amid the chaos, he saw movement near a large broken wall of stone. There, partly hidden by the rubble, lay an object that glowed faintly under the evening sky. With a burst of resolve, Roland shouted to his companions, "Look there! That light! It might be a clue." In the heat of the battle, the sight of that mysterious glow gave them new energy. Lena and Milo quickly moved to check the spot, while Joran held off the advancing soldiers with strong, careful blocks. The soldiers, noticing the distraction, hesitated for a moment. That split second was enough for the group to gain the upper hand. As the clash raged on, the mysterious object was revealed to be an ancient medallion, engraved with symbols that matched those on the note Roland had found. The medallion pulsed with a soft blue light, similar to the light that had first guided Roland on his journey. The discovery sent a ripple of excitement through the group. It was not only proof that the legend was real, but also a sign that the warship and its hidden power might be closer than they had ever imagined. The leader of the soldiers, seeing the medallion, grew in rage. He ordered his men to capture it at any cost. His voice thundered across the clearing, and the battle took on a new urgency. Roland and his companions realized that this was not merely a skirmish over territory. It was a battle for the very heart of the legend. Each side believed that controlling the medallion could unlock the secret of the warship and the fate of their people. Fighting with renewed purpose, Roland led his friends in a daring move. They formed a tight circle around the medallion, protecting it with their bodies. Lena's swift moves and Milo's sharp observations helped them fend off the soldiers, while Joran's strength kept the attackers at bay. Even in the chaos of clashing metal and raised voices, the medallion's blue glow shone steadily, a beacon of hope amidst the darkness. After what felt like an eternity, the soldiers began to fall back. Their numbers dwindled as the combined courage of Roland's group held strong. The leader, seeing his men retreat, roared in frustration before ordering a final push. In that moment, Roland grabbed the medallion and held it high, its light growing brighter as if acknowledging his determination. The blue light bathed the clearing in a warm glow, and for a brief moment, the battle seemed to pause as both sides stared in awe. The soldiers, unsettled by the unexpected power of the medallion, chose to withdraw, leaving Roland and his companions in the quiet aftermath of the clash. As silence slowly returned to the forest, the group took a deep breath, realizing that the first great test of their journey had been overcome. The medallion was safe, and with it, a vital key to unlocking the secrets of the legendary warship. In the fading light of the day, the group gathered around the medallion. Their hearts still pounded from the battle, but a shared sense of purpose now united them even more. The first clash had not only tested their courage, but had also brought them closer to the truth. The mysterious medallion was a promise that the legend was real, and it set them on a path that would soon lead them to even greater challenges. Their journey was far from over, and as they prepared to move forward, they knew that every step would bring them closer to the awakening of the warship and the hope it carried for their empire. The warship revealed. After the fierce clash over the medallion, Roland and his companions felt that every step of their journey was leading them to one moment of truth. The medallion's glow now pulsed steadily in Roland's hand, a constant reminder of the ancient promise that had guided them so far. The group continued along the narrow path marked on their fragile map, each step heavy with anticipation. The land around them began to change as they left behind the familiar forests and fields, moving into a barren stretch of rocky terrain where the air felt charged with history. For many days, the travelers pushed forward, following clues hidden in the markings on ancient stones and worn pathways barely visible under layers of dust. The sun beat down on them, and cold nights made the stars shine even brighter, as if trying to reveal secrets from long ago. Every time the medallion pulsed a bit stronger, the group knew they were on the right track. It was as if the relic itself was guiding them, whispering hints of what lay ahead. One early morning, as a soft mist cloaked the rugged landscape, the group came upon a massive plateau. There, rising out of the horizon like a memory of a bygone era, was the legendary warship. It was not the smooth, shining vessel of modern tales, but a grand, ancient craft with scars of battles long past. Its hull was marked with deep grooves and etched symbols that echoed the designs on the medallion. Despite its worn exterior, the warship exuded an undeniable aura of power and mystery. Roland and his friends stood in awe at the sight. The warship lay half-buried in the rocky ground, its massive form partly concealed by the swirling mist. It was as if nature itself had tried to hide this great relic of war and legend. The sight stirred a mix of emotions in them: wonder at its beauty, fear of its unknown power, and hope that this long-forgotten machine held the key to a new beginning for their people. Slowly, the group approached the warship. The air grew still as if time itself was holding its breath. Lena, with her cautious steps, led the way to a side entrance of the vessel. The door was large and sealed by rusted metal, yet faint blue lights, matching the medallion's glow, could be seen around its edges. It was clear that the warship was not completely lifeless. It still held a spark of the energy that once powered it in glorious battles. Inside the warship, the corridors were dark and silent. Dust hung in the air like tiny ghosts of the past. The walls, decorated with old symbols and faded paintings, told stories of epic battles and heroic deeds. Every step Roland took echoed in the emptiness, as if the ship itself remembered the roar of engines and the clash of metal. The group moved carefully, their eyes wide with wonder and their minds racing with questions about the ship's long-hidden secrets. In the heart of the warship, they discovered the command center, a large chamber with a panoramic view of the rocky landscape outside. Through cracked windows, the light of the rising sun filled the room, illuminating the intricate control panels and worn seating. It was in this very chamber that the legends had once been born. The medallion's glow intensified as if acknowledging that they had reached a place of great significance. Roland placed the medallion on a raised pedestal in the center of the room. Almost immediately, soft blue lights began to spread across the ship's interior, and a gentle hum filled the space. The old machinery stirred as if waking from a long sleep. The warship, now bathed in a rejuvenating glow, seemed to breathe life once more. It was a moment of triumph and relief for the group, a tangible sign that the legend was not merely a story, but a reality that could change the future of their empire. The discovery filled each of them with a deep sense of purpose. The warship was more than just a relic of the past. It was a repository of ancient knowledge and untapped power that could protect their people and help them rebuild. Lena's eyes shone with determination, while Joran clenched his fists in quiet resolve. Milo quickly began to document every detail, eager to remember the significance of this moment for future generations. In that quiet, charged moment, the warship revealed not only its physical form, but also the promise of a new era. Its systems, though old, were beginning to awaken, and the symbols on the walls seemed to tell a story of renewal and hope. The ship was ready to take its place once more, not as a tool of destruction, but as a guardian of the people and a beacon of strength in troubled times. As the group prepared to explore further and understand the full extent of the warship's capabilities, they knew that their journey had reached a pivotal point. The warship, shrouded in mystery and legend, had been revealed in all its ancient glory, and with it, the hope that the forgotten past could be reawakened to forge a brighter future for their empire. The battlefield awakens. Just as hope began to blossom inside the ancient warship, the sound of distant engines and clashing metal broke the fragile silence. Outside the command center, a new threat was emerging. Enemy forces, alerted by the warship's awakening, were closing in fast. The group had not been alone in their search, and now those who sought to claim the warship's power for their own were ready for battle. The peaceful glow inside the ship turned into a battleground of light and shadow as sensors and old control panels flickered to life. The warship itself began to hum with energy, its systems waking as if they had been waiting for this very moment. The pulsing blue light from the medallion spread along the walls, activating ancient defense mechanisms that had lain dormant for centuries. In response, alarms started to ring out through the corridors, a warning that danger was at the door. Roland, Lena, Joran, and Milo quickly moved back to the command center's large windows to see the approaching enemy. Outside, in the harsh, rocky landscape, a fleet of enemy vehicles and soldiers could be seen advancing. Their ships, sleek and modern compared to the ancient warship, shone under the early morning sun. The contrast was clear, old legend meeting new ambition, and neither side was willing to yield. As the enemy forces reached the plateau, they opened fire. Bright bursts of energy and explosions rocked the ground. The ancient warship, now awakened, responded instinctively. Its once silent engines roared to life, and hidden turrets along its sides began to swivel and fire back at the attackers. The ship moved slowly but surely, rising from the rocky bed like a giant coming to life. Its old but powerful weapons fired beams of energy that met the enemy's modern firepower head-on. Inside the command center, Roland felt a mix of fear and awe. He could see the enemy's determination in the chaos of battle outside. Lena and Joran readied themselves, knowing that every moment now was critical. Milo worked quickly to gather data and coordinate their next moves. It was clear that the warship was more than just a relic. It was a living force with a will of its own, and it was fighting to protect its new guardians. The battle intensified. The enemy's modern weapons struck the warship's hull, causing sparks and small fires to erupt along its side. Despite the damage, the ship held its ground, its ancient systems showing resilience. The soldiers outside, though well-equipped, began to realize that attacking an awakened warship was not as simple as they had thought. The ground trembled under the force of the ship's counterattacks, and the enemy vehicles faltered as they encountered unexpected resistance. Roland, stepping away from the window, grabbed the medallion that had once led him to this place. Its blue light shone even brighter now, as if it was feeding the warship with its long-forgotten power. He felt a deep connection between himself, the medallion, and the ship, a bond that went beyond time and space. It was a sign that the old legends were real, and that the warship was destined to stand against those who would use its power for harm. Outside, in the heart of the battlefield, the clash of old and new created a scene of chaos and heroism. Lena took charge of helping those who had fought bravely alongside them, tending to minor wounds and organizing the group's defense. Joran and Milo worked with the ship's control systems, trying to understand the ancient technology that now pulsed with life. Their simple tools and basic knowledge were no match for the modern enemies, but their determination filled every corner of the warship with hope. The enemy leader, realizing that their assault was failing, ordered a retreat. However, not all of the attackers left. A smaller group lingered, circling the warship and trying to find a weakness in its ancient armor. The warship, sensing the persistent threat, activated a hidden defense mode. The ship's old cannons roared once more, sending a warning shot that scattered the remaining forces. The battlefield was alive with the sounds of battle, crashing metal, booming explosions, and the steady hum of the warship as it asserted its power. In that critical hour, the warship had proven itself. It was more than a remnant of the past. It was a guardian ready to defend its people. The enemy, faced with a force that was as unpredictable as it was powerful, slowly withdrew. The sky, once filled with the threat of destruction, began to clear. The soldiers of the enemy force retreated to regroup, leaving behind a quiet that was filled with both relief and lingering tension. Inside the command center, Roland and his friends gathered once again. Their faces showed signs of fatigue and worry, yet also determination. They knew that the battle was not truly over. The enemy might return, and the warship's full potential was still a mystery to them. But in that moment, they celebrated the victory of hope and the power of legends reborn. The warship, resting on the rocky plateau, continued to hum with life. Its awakening had turned the tide of battle, and the ancient vessel now stood as a beacon of resistance and promise. Roland held the medallion close, aware that their journey had taken a dangerous turn. The battlefield had awakened not just the warship, but a spirit of courage and unity that would guide them into the uncertain future. As the light of the blue medallion mingled with the rising sun, it was clear that this was only the beginning. The warship had defended its honor, and its guardians, Roland and his friends, prepared themselves for the challenges that lay ahead, ready to follow the ancient legend into a new era of hope and battle. Myths shattered and a new dawn. In the quiet that followed the fierce battle, the ancient warship stood as a testament to a new beginning. The enemy had been driven away, and the sky above the plateau cleared as the first warm rays of dawn broke over the horizon. Roland, Lena, Joran, and Milo gathered once more in the command center, their eyes filled with relief and wonder. The warship, once just a legend told in hushed voices, now hummed with renewed power and promise. In the stillness of the morning, the group took time to reflect on all they had witnessed. The battle had shattered old myths and proved that even the most ancient stories could change the fate of an empire. The warship, with its deep scars and time-worn metal, had shown that strength did not always come from new technology or modern weapons. Instead, its true power lay in the history and hope it carried within. Roland carefully held the medallion, its blue light now gentle and steady, like the beat of a long-forgotten drum. This small object had been the key that unlocked the warship's secrets, and now it shone as a symbol of unity and courage. The medallion and the warship together reminded everyone that legends could be reborn, and with them, the promise of a better future. Lena tended to the small wounds of the group, her calm and steady hands showing the care of someone who believed in healing and new beginnings. Joran stood by the large windows, watching the vast landscape that stretched out before them, feeling a deep connection to the land and its long history. Milo, with his quick mind, documented every detail, knowing that their journey would become a story for the ages, a story that would inspire future generations to believe in hope. The people of the Empire, once burdened by daily struggles and dark tales of the past, now looked to the sky with renewed optimism. The warship's awakening had not only defended them from immediate danger, but had also ignited a spark of courage among all who heard of it. It was a clear sign that even the strongest myths could be broken, reshaped, and reborn into a promise of protection and strength. As the group prepared to leave the warship's command center, a soft, blue glow filled the room one last time. It was a quiet reminder that their journey was far from over. The ancient vessel had many more secrets to reveal, and the path ahead promised further challenges and discoveries. Yet in that moment, there was a deep sense of achievement, a feeling that the myth had been shattered, and from its pieces, a new dawn was rising. The warship, now fully awakened, stood ready to serve as the guardian of the Empire. Its ancient power and modern resolve became a beacon for all those who believed in the strength of their history and the possibility of change. With the sun rising and the light of hope shining bright, the legend was no longer just a story told in the dark. It had become a living promise of a new era. And so, with hearts full of hope and eyes set on the future, Roland and his friends stepped forward into the bright morning. Their journey had transformed not only their lives, but also the destiny of the empire they loved. The myths of the past were gone, replaced by a new day, a day built on courage, unity, and the unyielding promise that the future would be shaped by the strength of those who dared to dream.